Thanks for staying with us. We are now into our Beyond the Headlines segment where we provide review and analysis of the big stories. Again, today we continue our coverage on the heartbreaking stories of St. Lucian women who were employed, some of whom are still employed on a particular farm in Nova Scotia, Canada. We began our coverage yesterday, and that video that you saw leading us into the Beyond the Headlines segment, if you are familiar with the World Wide Web, there are hundreds of those videos, PR videos, marketing videos. They make it seem all but simple. They make it seem like a bed of roses, but as you receive via our first guest yesterday, Miss Latoya Ben, it was not what they expected, and it was not what they prepared for. Reports of physical attack, reports of racism, and allegations of threats as well. We continue our coverage, shifting things up a bit this morning. We have a young lady on the line, one of 18 St. Lucian women, the first cohort of whom, the first group of whom were selected and who made the cut to represent the island. They were touted as ambassadors for St. Lucia when they first went out just about 24 hours before Good Friday of this year, 2022. They made the journey to Nova Scotia, Canada. Let me say good morning first and a warm welcome to Nella Collymore. Nella, good morning. Thanks for waking up early and thanks for agreeing to come on.
Good morning.
Where do we start, Nella? You lived the experience. What was it like for you working at that farm over in Nova Scotia, Canada?
Well, at the end of the day, I cannot complain because my experience wasn't that bad.
Okay.
My experience wasn't that bad. Yes, it wasn't a nice place to work, but one thing about me, I learn to adapt to any kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The housing was perfect. There was no problem wrong with the housing. It was just some of the treatment that wasn't good.
Okay. Excellent. And Nella, you're back home already, correct?
Yes, I am.
So we've had to make a slight adjustment for now, viewers. Our initially scheduled guest, one of Nella's colleagues, unfortunately, she's right now on the way to receive medical attention in Canada. She has sore knees and she will reconnect with us in just a bit. So we are speaking now with Nella Collymore, who was also on that trip. It was your first time, Nella. What was the weather conditions like? Talk to us about the accommodations. You said it was okay. The food, the farm, what was it like?
Well, the accommodations was okay, but the way the job is, the strawberries were planted very low, and then we were supposed to crawl on our knees to pick the strawberries, cut the tips, and the kind of things. Right? To me, the treatment we got was treatment that mostly everybody gets when they go and work on a farm. It's not 100%, but it's not that bad.
Were you told of what the process was like to prune and to pick the strawberries before you went?
Well, the Labor Department did warn us that the work was going to be very hard. Right? They did warn us that the work wasn't easy. But when we arrived there, we did not expect it to be that hard. We didn't expect it to be that difficult.
Did they explain the process of strawberry picking to you?
Okay, the thing is that you receive in a cart where you have to crawl on your knees to pick the strawberries, fill the boxes of strawberries. The more strawberries the more boxes of strawberry pick, they call that piecework. you get paid according to the boxes of strawberries you pick. Yes.
Right.
So if you pick 2 boxes of strawberries for the day, you're getting paid 2 boxes of strawberries a day. But there's also something that if you do not make your wage, right? Because Canada have a law that all employees have to make their wages. So if you do not make your wage, the company has to top you up, which is they have to make the balance of your wages. So if we didn't pick enough strawberries boxes for the day, the company would pay us our top up. They would top up our wages.
Right.
But the thing is that we were placed with some experienced Jamaicans. Those Jamaicans have been coming on the farm for years, right? And we were expected to produce the same level of work that they did, which was very unfair to us because we just only had 2 or 3 months. Sometimes we got trained one day to do what we have to do, and then we have to be working on the same level as them. So it was very stressful. Right? It was very stressful, but like I said, we managed.
Excellent.
I constantly had to be giving the girls strength, giving them. Sometimes when they don't want to go to work, I have to motivate them because it wasn't an easy thing. I had to encourage them a lot.
Excellent.
Always have to be giving them those pep talk because it's not easy. So.
Yeah, nice to hear that there was that level of camaraderie and togetherness between you all out there.
Yeah, well. One thing about us, we learn to make the work easier for ourselves. So if we do reading and they give you a whole bed to do yourself, so with the other solutions, if we done before the orders, we would go and assist the orders in doing what they're doing. So normally you find one have almost 5-10 solutions clean as one bed just to help the other person. So we used to really help out one another up there.
Excellent. That's what's expected of you guys as true ambassadors and representatives of St. Lucia. Let me ask you, Nella. We received reports yesterday that there were cases of abuse, cases of even physical assault.
Yeah. Well, that is true, but the thing about it, the day that happened on the field, I was not there because the company has other places, right? There's also a nursery where they plant the plants.
So you didn't experience any racism?
Well, yes, to an extent, because you have to understand we're living in a white supremacist world.
Right, and
so we receive racism, but not really on a bad level. It's just that I don't know, for some reason when the people see black people, they still see you in that slavish mentality work, so they want to have you working like you're a slave. But to say, well, I'll say that strong racism, no. Because the people of Canada were very thankful that we came to work for them. So majority of the places we went, they used to fund us a lot.
So that's what the program is about. The population of Canada, they cannot satisfy their own need for agricultural workers to meet their need for food in the supermarket. So that is why they require good workers from our region under the swap program. What was the pay like, Nella?
What happened?
What was the pay like?
The pay?
Yes.
Well, it could have been better. Honest truth, it could have been better, but what can I say? Yeah, it could have been better. And the only thing to my God, the tax in Canada isn't here. You can see you making a lot of money, right? But when you see the tax that money saves, my God, you have nothing much for yourself. Yeah, the tax is very high. And I find that if Canada wants people to work for them, right? You want outside people because your own people don't want to do that kind of work. You should give the people a reasonable pay, or don't tax their money so hard. Because at the end of the day, we're coming to help your economy. You understand? It's supposed to be a win-win situation for both parties.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a win-win situation.
Yeah. You didn't experience a lot of what your colleague Latoya Ben explained to us yesterday. But as a lady who was on the mission, how do you feel that women like yourself from St. Lucia were treated in that manner?
Well, at the end of the day, the thing I can say that this kind of work is not for women, because there were Jamaican men there as well, and they was complaining more than the women, because the work is very hard. That is why nobody in their own country don't want to do that kind of work. Yeah, because they put out applications after COVID, right? They put out applications, and if you believe only one person from their country applied for the job, one. None of the people of their country want to do that kind of work. Yeah. So we now that are willing to come and do it, to me they should make it more appealing, not to lie to us, and then when we get there we get to see something totally different. But I do not want St. Lucians to blame the Labour Department. At the end of the day, the job of the Labour Department is to provide jobs for St. Lucians, and they did that. It's not every conditions they can control. I want people to know that. So don't blame the people and say, oh, the Labour Department sent solution. No. At the end of the day, the same way they sell a project to us, they sold it to them the same way. Okay, they said that they were sending the people and represent the country under good conditions.
I don't think anybody Nella has blamed the Labour Department, although the department remains in a comatose state in the response to this unfolding situation. But do you think somebody should have investigated that particular farm a lot better before sending y'all out there?
Listen, there was a liaison that represented St. Lucia. The guy did went and see the farm, right? So, like I told you, the way that people will behave in front of the people, the representatives of St. Lucia, is not the way they'll be behind their back. Because the guy did go and watch and make sure everything was okay.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
If he knew that, he felt that they could have done it, it was a trial.
Right. Yeah, definitely it was a trial for St. Lucia, y'all being the first.
Exactly. It was a trial.
What was the communication like, Nella, between yourselves while you were on the ground and your officers from the Eastern Caribbean Liaison Office, and did you have any contact with the staff and the people back home?
I myself didn't have anything much to report to them or anything. So, but one thing I can say, the liaison in Canada, he was always there to listen to what we have to see. If we complain about something, he would call them and make sure he rectified it with the people. But it's not all conditions he could have controlled. Okay? So they really did play their part. Sometimes they would contact us, find out what's going on. You understand? They formed a group chat, asking us what's going on. It's us who chose, some of us who chose not to say what was happening.
Would you do it again, Nella? Would you go again?
Would I go again? Never. Not in this lifetime. I don't mind going to other contracts, but not on that specific farm. Not on that specific farm.
Nella, thanks for your account. We have more of your colleagues to speak to, so thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you, sir. All right. You have a pleasant day yourself. Okay?
You as well.
All right. Thanks. Bye. Yeah.
And the Eastern Caribbean Liaison Service, the CLS, the Eastern Caribbean Liaison Service, the representative there who was in contact with our St. Lucian women, Mr. Olaf Fontenelle. He is the liaison officer at the ECSL. We had told, was in contact with them. He visited the farm. So he was being kept abreast as to the situation, and he did make attempts to rectify the situation when incidents were reported to him. So we can update you right now that the Labour Department here on St. Lucia, they are continuing the meetings in response to this issue. They met yesterday, we can confirm, and they are scheduled to meet with the ECSL, the Eastern Caribbean Liaison Service, on a Thursday of this week if that meeting is not fast-tracked today because of the breaking developments with reference to our St. Lucian women out there. We can confirm to you, as one of the women yesterday, Latoya Ben, told us, we can confirm that there are at least 2 St. Lucian women still engaged on a contract on that farm in Nova Scotia, Canada. We have been in contact with one of these women from yesterday. This morning she woke up pretty early, conveying to me as the host and producer of this platform that she was she was in extreme pain, suffering in her knee area, and she has since conveyed to us that she's seeking some treatment for her knees. They are paining extremely bad this morning, and she will have an engagement with us, hopefully in a very short stead. So we await more information from and a response from the authorities here on St. Lucia. We have the contact for Mr. Fontenelle, who perhaps we should place a call to discuss with him his role in rectifying such issues. He has as well served as a participant on the SWAP program, the Seasonal Agriculture Workers Program, so he rose his way through the ranks, so to speak, starting as a picker himself, and now the liaison officer representing the workers, sort of the between person between the workers, the go-between person, the go-to person between the workers, the employees, and the countries where the workers come from in the Eastern Caribbean. So it's not just St. Lucia who are affected. If you are familiar with the internet, the stories of Latoya Ben are similar in Trinidad and Tobago. They're similar in countries like Jamaica as well, and other parts of the Caribbean who have participants and under the SWAP, Seasonal Agriculture Workers Program. So we will continue to remain focused on this developing story once the Department of Labor is prepared to respond and prepared to give the nation an update, because it was St. Lucian nationals branded as ambassadors who were affected and sent out over to Nova Scotia, Canada on this first of its kind mission for St. Lucian women. When they are prepared, we will also be prepared as always to facilitate them here on this platform. We will continue to focus on it. In the main this morning, we're discussing a number of topics of importance to us here on the island of St. Lucia. It's a blockbuster program we have. It's a bumper-to-bumper program. We're focusing on Canada. There's also a development with the national hair debate on the island. The courts has issued an injunction instructing one institution that the student at the center of the controversy must return to school with immediacy. That student has since gone to class, is at class as we speak. Well, not so early, but will be at class today. And we at Good Morning St. Lucia, we have copies of that injunction filed by the court, not filed by the court, but issued by the court. We will go through the injunction in its entirety right here on the broadcast, and then we'll get reactions to this latest development on the hair crisis. I have some special guests who will join me in studio as well. The CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of the CIP Citizenship by Investment Program in St. Lucia, Mr. McLeod Emmanuel, will join me in studio. It's expected to be a very interesting discussion, an exclusive interview, and later on I have some very special friends from the Department of Sustainable Development. All that and more coming up this morning. Continue to stay with us until 9 o'clock.